Welcome once again to Inside Earlham College Football with head coach Nick Johnson. We're going to talk with Nick about what's coming up this week and take a look back at last week as well. That's coming up next, right here on Radio Troy Digital Sports.
Darrell Bean Stadium, located due south of the Athletics and Wellness Center, is home to the Earlham football, field hockey, track and field, women's lacrosse, and men's lacrosse teams. Completed in 2007, the stadium received a facelift in 2012 in the form of field turf and an 8-lane track. Named after Darrell Bean, class of 1955 and former director of admissions, the stadium seats up to 2,000 people. The Earlham football team calls a 90-person locker room their home during the fall, while each team who visits Darrell Bean Stadium uses the 80-person visiting locker room. Storage areas, concession stands, and restrooms are other amenities the stadium offers.
Welcome back once again to Inside Earlham College Football with head coach Nick Johnson. And we haven't had a chance to chat in the last couple of weeks. How's everything going?
It's going all right. I've been running around like a chicken with my head cut off and some other things outside of football going on, as you know. But things have been good. We've got some good learning experiences under our belt with our football program and trying to establish who and what we want to be still, and kind of taking last weekend's game for the information that it was and the situation that it was, and working with our kids to move forward in a positive fashion and allow for us to do well this weekend.
You know, I would imagine at this point in the season, too, football can be a grind. All sports can be a grind at a certain point, and then you got to keep your players mentally tough, and they got to go to school and all that stuff, and you know, that school stuff keeps getting in the way. But anyway, they've got to be still mentally focused because you still got some games to go.
Absolutely. We're at the midterm point here at Earlham College, and so we're looking at the students' midterm grades, our reports, seeing how we need to structure their study tables and academic engagement to ensure, because our number one goal is that our guys graduate in 4 years. I don't think we're winning if we're not doing things the right way in other areas of the kids' collegiate experience. So we want to ensure that we're on top of that. But also, we are doing football. We do want to win. It's an important thing to us. It's an important opportunity for us to do everything we can to set these kids up in a position to win and to allow for them to affect that and do that on their own part as well as they meet us halfway with their own physical efforts. Yeah. So it gets demanding. I mean, you're talking about hours of class work in the classroom and out of the classroom, as rigorous a schedule as Earlham keeps, in addition to the time that we put in for our athletics and sports programs. And you know, football's an animal. It's tough and it's physically demanding, and with our limited numbers, it's even more so physically demanding on our guys. But I don't think I'd have it any other way right now. I think there's some good experiences that come out of that. There's a tremendous education our students receive from that that's going to benefit them down the road, let alone for this weekend.
The older guys understand that. Have the younger guys, are they grasping everything? Are they hanging in there okay?
They're hanging in there, but it's hitting them. I think they're kind of seeing what they're in for, and they're getting some of that calm response, some of the questions to the older guys. Man, how'd you do this then and what? But that's part of that growing experience, that part of that maturation that needs to take place. And by this point, your freshmen are really sophomores, and your sophomores are really juniors, and your juniors are really seniors, and your seniors are kind of like the old heads running around given some direction. So it's an interesting dynamic within our group because we are a little youth heavy, and so that hits us a little bit more than it would some other programs. So.
Last week you mentioned you're still, the players are learning certain things and certain dynamics. What did you come out of last week with? So you're getting calls already.
I'm constantly getting calls. I apologize for that. What did we learn out of last week? I think last week is a tremendous microcosm for our season. I think if you watch that game and you see some of it, you see the stats from the first half, or if you were there live or whatnot, you saw a team that kind of hit the field against a very talented offense and defense, one of the best teams in our region, let alone in the nation. And you see our kids kind of flustered, kind of overwhelmed, out of their element, not doing things the way that we were coached to do, if I could be so bold, because I think our coaches are doing a great job, and kids are kind of shocked and in awe of what they saw. But we came out in the second half, and we battled really well. We played really well. We had way fewer mistakes, if any. A lot more effort, a lot more designation of assignment and doing the things that they were taught to do. I wanted to use last weekend's game as a microcosm for our season. Right. If we take the first half and say this is where we were and why we were 0-5. and how we got to be that way, and some of the actions, attitudes, and lack of effort or efforts in our own volition that led us to that, and then take the second half and say, if we can make that second half of our game against Franklin a microcosm for the remainder of our season. We've got 5 more games to go, and we're not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere, and the issues aren't going away. How do we personally resolve those ourselves to ensure the best opportunity for success and to ensure success for our program?
Yeah.
So if our kids come out and attack this week, and they already have, we changed things up a little bit, had an early morning practice. The guys responded very well to it. So if our kids come out and continue to respond in the same way they did in the second half of that game, our seniors lead the same way they did in the second half of that game, our students go after the opponent the way we did in the second half of that game, I feel very confident in our opportunity to really show something in front of our home crowd at homecoming, and to see that there is an improvement to Earlham football. We are taking steps in the right direction. Our record doesn't indicate the type of football team that this is. Those guys have a lot of heart, a lot of character, and a lot of work ethic, and I think that'll show and prove through this weekend.
Yeah, you can see that when you go watch them play.
Yeah.
It's more fun to watch them in person too, by the way.
Yeah, they're a little bit better live.
Yeah.
A little smaller than they look on film, but they're great guys, and we've got some good athletes, some strong players, and when we begin to add depth and other things to this program, I think it's going to be a real fantastic.
I agree. Before we get to Mount St. Joe, you got him up early, and was that today?
It was yesterday.
Yesterday. How early are we talking about here?
Oh, we started practice at 6 a.m. So,
really?
Yeah.
Wow. So that's about a 5:30 wake-up call for some of these guys.
Well, most of them 5:15. They try to get out there earlier. We don't do wake-up calls, so they're under their own recognizance for getting themselves there. And,
you said 5:15. Some of them were probably 5:55, weren't they?
Oh, well, there's one or two that were 5:55.
But they can get it there in 5 minutes.
They can get there in 5 minutes. They all did a really good job. And our coaches had a lot of energy and a lot of excitement about it. There's a lot of teaching going on. It might be something we adopt throughout the remainder of the season, just to kind of shake the week up and give those guys something new and a chance to start the day with, here's football now.
Yeah.
Normally we have morning meetings prior to class, and that kind of gets them involved. But I think there's something about connecting the physical with the mental as well that gets our practice going. It buys us some time to do some extra recruiting throughout the day. Early bird gets the worm, and we need a lot of worms.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, they don't get up as early as we used to.
No, we'll never do that.
Especially in the EBL, we were here pretty early.
Oh yeah, we were warming up about 3:30 in the morning, bending the rims.
Check out the EBL Hall of Fame when you come here next time, too. We're both in it.
No, all-time fouls.
That's right. There you go. Coach, you play a Mount St. Joe team, and I look back at their numbers, and they're playing pretty good football right now. They're playing better in conference than they were out of the conference. Yeah,
they are. I think they've done a good job. Coach Huber is a fantastic coach. He's been with that program for a long time, and some would say since its inception, and has done a great job with his staff and with his kids. And they always have great athletes that get to where they're supposed to be when they're supposed to be there, do what they're supposed to do. They're always talented, always physical, always fast. It's just a tough opponent whenever you play college, the University of Mount St. Joseph now, I should say. And they've done a great job. They're not overly complex. They do what they do, and they do what they do really well. And you see from the progression of films that we have them kind of perfecting that as they go. So it'll be a unique task for us in the sense that, not unique in the sense that we'll be playing a very talented, very physical, very fast opponent, but unique in the sense that we're trying to put the new look Earlham out there against this type of opponent. So we're not going in from week to week defeating ourselves early in the game and then trying to come back and win it. We're going to hopefully present our best selves from start to finish and see what Mount St. Joseph can do with that. But they're a good program. They play well. They're well taught, well coached. And Coach Huber's an excellent guy.
Not very many weeks off in the HCAC.
Not very many at all, if any. The bye week was a chance for us to get on, and we did in some respects, but we're using this week to continue to move more toward on, if you will, taking some of the positives that came out of the second half of our Franklin game and issuing them forward for our contest against Mount St. Joe at homecoming. It's a nice weekend, nice occasion. A lot of alums are back. A lot of my own personal friends and teammates will be back, so there's always that pull to, do well in front of your buddies. And I hope that we can. But in addition, it's also a special week because Mount St. Joseph's head coach Rod Huber has been very instrumental in involving our league in a great promotion, Samaritan's Feet, which is a charitable organization that provides shoes and health care to impoverished young people all around the world that don't have shoes or suffer from foodborne illness. And so we've been raising money for a while for that now, and the league continues to raise money throughout the year. And we've been able to donate thousands of dollars over the years. And so that'll be a special thing that's going on that day too. Hopefully, Coach Huber agrees to go barefoot that game so we can kind of draw attention to this. He sent me an email, said, if you go barefoot, I will too. So I'm hoping it's not 39 degrees.
It's actually supposed to be nice on Saturday, so I think you're in good shape.
Shoes coming off. So sorry about that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I am too. So it's a great thing, and that's another thing that's special about our league, that they do other things outside the lines that are really unique too. So although there are no weeks off in terms of tough competition, I'm excited to see each of these guys every weekend because they're like-minded individuals. They care about their kids. They care about doing things the right way, and that makes it special for me when we get to competition day.
2:30 kickoff time.
2:30. We're a little different this week. It is homecoming. Come out, bring your friends. Support the Quakers. Have a great time. A lot of fantastic stuff going on this weekend. Should be fun.
All right, Coach, good to see you again.
Always a pleasure. Thank you so much. Thanks for not following me so hard when we played in the EBO.
Couldn't catch up with him. All right, again, we'll have pregame coverage beginning at 2:10, kickoff at 2:30. All the game notes, statistics, and much more on GoEarlham.com. And we'll see you again next time right here on Inside Earlham College Football on Radio Troy Digital Sports.